welcome to my very first podcast. My name is Jackie, and I'm coming to you from my home in White Rock, British Columbia. And I'm really excited to be finally doing this. I have wanted to do it for a long time. I did start filming some clips. I put together about 5 different podcasts about 4 years ago, where I was recycling, upcycling clothes, and because I love all sorts of fiber arts and any creative endeavor. I'm an artist, and but I found that style of podcasting didn't work for me. I felt like I was missing steps. It took the joy out of it when I had to stop and videotape every step of the way. And then also just the technical difficulties. I didn't know how to put music to my work. I just thought I would just rather be sitting and knitting and going out with girlfriends and chatting about what we're knitting than trying to be a filmmaker, basically. And then I discovered that some of my favorite podcasts were ones where the knitters would just sit and chat and tell me about what they were working on. And I loved it. It was just something very different to me. I discovered this whole world of all these fantastic creative people who just like chatting about what they were working on and what they were wearing. And I got so much inspiration from them. And I thought one day I'm going to do that. So I've been knitting with Linda from For the Fun of Knit for several years, with Linda and also with June and Noreen and Darlene and Margaret. Margaret. I don't want to leave anybody out. And I have been talking about starting a podcast. And I think they're ready for me to do it, and I'm ready to do it. You may be coming from one of Linda's podcasts where we were just on chatting, and if so, welcome to everyone else too. Happy to have you here. One of the things when you're starting a podcast is you have to come up with a name. So I paint, and this is one of mine here, and so my studio is Darkling Thresh Studio, and I thought, okay, should I use that for my knitting podcast? And then I came up with a different name, and for the longest time it was going to be One Knit Stand, and I thought that was really cute and clever. But then yesterday I was knitting, and I was thinking about what I wanted to say when I was podcasting, what was important to me. And I thought, well, it's important for me to be inspiring, to say things that are only necessary, to be kind. And then I thought, I'm sure that's an expression. So I Googled it, and yes, it's something that Socrates said, that we should always think before we speak, and we should say, before we say anything, I think it was, is it necessary? Is it inspiring? Is it kind? And then that's been taken further to an acronym THINK. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And it was like this light bulb. I thought, THINKknits. That's what I'm going to call my podcast, THINKknits. And there you go. Those are my goals. Hi, Jackie from the future here. I think Jackie from the past really gave that opening her best shot, but she's going to have to work on it a little bit. That's where the name comes from. I still think One Knit Stand is fantastic, and if I were going to be dyeing yarn, I would be snapping that up, but someone else is welcome to it. carry on. So I want to tell you what I'm wearing because it's kind of like, what do I wear for my first podcast? I thought I'm going to throw something on that I am so proud of. I absolutely love. This is the Pressed Flowers vest by Amy Christophers. And I did this using um, a mohair silk. It's got so many different things. I'm going to have everything listed below. Um, but the colorful flowers are actually done using my own hand spun, which was a fingering, and I held that with a mohair silk, and I think it's a drops mohair silk, or it might be a rowan. Um, I have a huge stash. I'm a bit of a collector and a bit of a pack rat, so I save all bits and bobs of everything and love to throw different things in here and there. So I will have everything listed below, and that's part of getting used to, I guess, doing a podcast is maybe I should have notes right here. But when I meet with my girlfriends to knit, we don't come with a notebook with our notes. It's all up here, and we have several hours where we're just chatting, and eventually we get the information out, and so hopefully that's going to happen here too. So I'll show you maybe up close what that looks like. I love the beautiful colors and the striations, and this is just one of my favorite all time. It's a mosaic stitch. This pattern also comes in a cardigan, and my girlfriend Noreen made it in the cardigan, and I would love to do that. I love the shawl, absolutely love the shawl. The vest, I think it's in a hat. Yeah, absolutely love it. So there it is. One of the things that I showed that I'm working on when I was doing the podcast with Linda from the Fun of Knit was my grandpa cardie. This is a free pattern on Hobie website, and I absolutely love this sort of oversized shape. I'm almost done. I don't know why, but this last sleeve it just feels like it's taken forever. I work on, only a few rows at a time, even though I'm sitting and knitting. This one's dragging on for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I think I have about 10 rows to go, and then I can start the cuff, and Bob's your uncle. I'm done. I'm wearing this tomorrow. I'm not going to block it because I really like the fit right now. Okay, so the body is done with 2 yarns held together. One is the Noro Kiri, and it's held together. So this is Noro Kiri, which is a beautiful combination of it's a cotton and silk and a little bit of mohair. I'm probably wrong. I think it's probably a wool. It's something like 45% silk, 45% wool, and maybe 10% mohair. I'll put that on the screen. And then I'm holding it with, so I'll show you that. Absolutely gorgeous. And so I'm holding it with Rowan patina. And I know when I was doing Linda's podcast, none of these words were coming out of my mouth. I could not remember a thing, but I'm going to do better. So this is Rowan patina. It's discontinued, unfortunately, but it's still possible to find it. And it's got a little bit of gold in it. So you can see it's considered a DK weight. I love it. I made another sweater in pink with this, and I think it's that senior brain where I just can't think of names, but it's in my Ravelry. It's a beautiful sweater in the pink color. Um, but these two held together, it feels a little. It doesn't feel scratchy, but it feels a little. I don't even want to say stiff, firm. But I've given the body a bit of a steam to see how it would lay, and it's drapey and soft. And I'm doing it on a 5 millimeter needle, and so with those two yarns held together, and just love how it's draping, how it feels. I would love to do something else in this combo. Just love it. So nothing ever goes as planned. One of my favorite things about this sweater was this thick band at the front. So I was knitting this at our knitting group and working on the band, completely had a brain freeze. I was supposed to do 4 rows of the body color, 4 rows of the pink, and then 2 rows of the body and bind off. I was so excited to see it finished. I only did 2 rows of the pink. Not only that, I was thinking, and this is the only part that you do in a smaller needle. I did this with a 4.5. I was thinking, why doesn't it look as pink and bold as the bottom? And so then when I got to the cuff, I realized, oh, I held the pink double. So it actually was 3 strands to get, not just gauge, but to fill it out. So the pink is done with Lamb Kid birdie that I had left over from a hat project. Held with, what did I hold that with? Oh, I don't have it here. Held with a pink yarn. I needed so little that it was just a little scrap. But it's so frustrating because I want this object and I love the way it looks, and I'm excited, and I do the hem, and I just love this so much. I love the split. And then I just power ahead and do the band. But it turns out it's fine. I'm not going to pick it out. I actually really like it the way it is. So I'm excited. Now, there aren't a lot of projects that on Ravelry made with this pattern, but I did look through the ones that were on there, and I noticed it only comes in 3 sizes, but it's actually quite small for, the large is quite small, and it doesn't have short rows. So what I did is, and this might be where this might be the helpful part. I added probably about this much in length at the top and did short rows. So when you're doing it's bottom up, and when you get to the shoulder shaping, it's bind off, bind off, bind off. So it's a step, and I decided to do it short rows instead, so that I would then hold those stitches on a cord so that I could do Kitchener stitch. If I did the same thing along the back, I could do Kitchener stitch, because the way the back is done is you just knit and then you bind off straight across the back. And I thought, I don't know if that's going to work for me. And so what I did when I got to the point where it kind of matched up with the front, I did the same uh, short row shaping at the back, so I would have a bit of a trapezoid. Is that the shape? And then just Kitchener stitched the shoulders, so I didn't have that seam. And so that's worked out quite nicely. And I'm loving it. It's interesting how it's really looking stripy, but in person it doesn't actually. I mean, you definitely see kind of striations in person, but it definitely isn't as noticeable as it's looking on camera. Very interesting. I kind of like that too. So I'm excited about seeing that finished, and like I said, that'll be done tomorrow. If you're coming from Linda's podcast, I talked about this, and so hopefully it wasn't too bad listening to it again, but I'm just so excited about it. And it's also the first time I've done something that I think is pretty neutral. Oh, I know, I didn't mention this. One of my favorite parts of this sweater is that when you're done, you take a thick needle, embroidery needle, and in the pattern it shows a white stitching, and you just do some almost like cross-hatching stitches for however you want down the front of the neck, and you can do some on the edge where the shoulder is, and you can do it anywhere you want, but the idea is it looks like a patched up grandpa sweater. I love that idea, and I'm definitely going to do it, and I'm going to do it in white. So that'll be the finishing touch, and I'm really excited about it. Well, and my artwork in the window.
And your artwork in the window.
You have artwork in the window?
Yes, she
Oh, it's
does.
wonderful.
She
I was
does.
looking at it.
She came to visit me. She drove 100 miles to see
Okay,
me.
so model. I'm just gonna grab my chicken, give her a little squeeze. I jumped on the bandwagon last year and made myself a chicken, and I get teased about it. My grandsons were visiting from California, and they're little toddlers, and were running around the house, had them by the neck, and I could see the stuffing going out. And I was like, no, that's my chicken. And so of course my family teased me, and but that's okay. I don't care. It's my chicken. I'll make them their own. They're not gonna ruin mine. So I brought a couple of other things to show, and just to give you a little idea of the kind of thing I do as I settle into this whole podcasting thing and find my groove, which my groove might just be all over the place all the time. That could be it. But I brought a couple of projects that I really want to finish after I finish my grandpa's cardigan. I want to finally finish my THINKnits. I'm going to kind of hide that part. I know there was some controversy. I absolutely love it. I'm making it out of Queensland collection Kathmandu fingering. And I added a little bit of a mohair dare in here. Really, not much of a dare. I just added it to the browns. These are not really my colors, and I think that's what sort of stopped me from working on it, because I absolutely love that big thick border with this. It's not a slip stitch, but it is kind of a slip stitch. I'm excited to do it. I really can't wait. But I like the lights, the pinks, the brights, but I don't know why it is. I tend to knit a lot with these muted, grayed down colors. And so what I'm planning on doing, so these are the colors that I've done my shawl with, the Wet Knits, what was it called? Geo Gradient. So I love them. They're showing up quite accurately. So I thought to really change up that border and give my shawl some oomph, I thought I'm going to add some of this. Okay, something happened and I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I'm surprised I didn't have any other technical issues before now. So I think what I was saying is that I plan on adding uh, these two into my border, and I'll combine them with these pieces of these. They're not scraps. There's a lot here. I can make I can make a hat or something else to go with my shawl. But yeah, so this is it's a Rowan Kid Silk, and this yarn here, I love it. It is a fingering mohair. No, it's a fingering merino superwash. I actually bought that from Ice Yarns years ago when I was just getting started back into the knitting groove. And I've made one of my favorite sweaters was made with it, mixed with the mohair silk. And it was Laura Penrose's souffle. And so that's a really terrific yarn. But I think it'll look terrific along the edge. Add a bit of a pop. So I'm saying it here, I'm saying it now. That is the next one I'm going to work on. It's been 2 years, so I want it done. And I really enjoyed the MCAL. So, and the other one is for my son-in-law, my local son-in-law, and I believe he's so knit worthy. I am making him, what is it called? It's kind of a combination. I'm mashing up two different patterns. I'm going to put it here. Sean's Gambier. It's basically mostly Sean's Gambier, and I'm making it with Lamb's Pride Bulky, which is such a beautiful, beautiful yarn. My son-in-law Sam is quite tall and broad, super good looking guy. That's just a fact. That's the T in the true part of THINKknits. He'd look good in anything. This was a bottom up sweater, cardigan, and I've made both of the sleeves. Now, because Sam is quite tall, he was a rugby player, so he's got broad shoulders, but I don't have the opportunity to try things on and figure it out as I go. I've taken measurements, but there is something about knitting for someone else, especially when you really, really want it to go well, that I don't know, it's just made me so anxious and nervous about not having it fit him properly. And so I tend to put it away and I work on other things, and he teases me about it. But I'm at the point where I've done both of the sleeves, and I've had to adjust it slightly. Like I've added some extra rows so that I would get the length in, because my gauge is not quite the same, because I used a different yarn than the pattern called for. And just because I'm silly like that, I really need to start I probably won't, but um, gauge swatching is the way to go. And I'm going to try to make 2025 the year that I gauge swatch, maybe. So I'm at the point where I have the body done and I am going to now somehow attach the sleeves. I did do this style of a top before. I did it with a what was called the Western tee, where you knit the body and then knit the little tee sleeves, and then you kind of go around and you pick up the sleeves, and then start doing the raglan. Um, and so I know how it's done, but I'm still uh, it's holding me back because I'm kind of free-forming this. I decided that I wanted to do the color work on the sleeves flat. And so I did the sleeves in the round, but this top portion, oh, I think it was because I didn't want to carry the floats. So the top portion I did flat. So all I have to do is give that a little seam up. Um, and I thought it would make it easier when I attach to the body. It's one of these things where I know I just have to reserve an hour to one evening, get back into the pattern, figure out where I'm at, start knitting it, and continue from there, because the actual knitting won't take that long. This is all done on a 6 millimeter needle, and so it's not going to take that long. I just have to get going. And I've bought a really long, I've actually ordered 2 really long zippers. And then I was thinking, because I like the way my grandpa cardi looked with the button band, maybe I should just do a button band. And it's something that I'm familiar with instead of doing the zipper. So that remains to be seen. I'll figure that out once I get the whole thing knit. But isn't it great? I'm so excited. I love it. And part of the other sweater that I was sort of combining ideas had a kind of a different bottom on it and cuff. So it's just like a garter band instead of ribbing. And we'll see. It kind of gives it a chunky look. So I'm hoping that even if it's something that Sam can just wear when he's out, maybe sitting at a campfire somewhere or on someone's deck in the summer, and it gets a little chilly, throw it on and not be too precious with it. But yeah, it feels great. I love it. I just need to do it. And he'll be so surprised and happy because he probably thinks that I've given up. But yeah, they're expecting a baby this summer. And I feel like before I can make any baby clothes, it's their first, my daughter Sam and her husband Sam. So before I make any baby clothes, I should actually make a little copy of this. Make a little gray with a little bit of color work for the baby. And give the baby his sweater first, and then surprise Sam with his daddy size. We'll see if that happens. So there you go. I'm pretty happy. That was not painful at all. It was actually a lot of fun. I'm kind of looking forward to what happens next as far as doing the editing. That'll be a challenge. I think it's really important to exercise your brain, and this time I am determined to make it happen. And if I need any help, I know I can call on Linda. My son is also a designer with Apple, but I hate calling him because I just feel like I should be able to figure things out on my own. But sometimes, you know what, just make the call, ask for help, get it done. Thank you so much for joining me at THINKnits by Darkling Thrush Studio. One knit stand. No, that's too long. But I had a lot of fun being here, and I'm looking forward to doing it again and showing you where I've come with all of these projects and getting to know you and having fun here. Take care, everybody. Bye. Hi, Jackie from the future here. I think Jackie from the past really gave that opening her best shot, but she's gonna have to work on it a little bit. I just wanted to jump on and say that I hope you stick it through and keep watching, and I'm not gonna jump in and edit too much. I want this just to be a fun podcast, so enjoy. Talk to you later, bye.